Our three main topics we'll be talking about today about Young and Bloor is past, present, and future. Past. The first step Young and Bloor took to becoming a major intersection in Toronto was installing its first traffic lights in 1925 to help the flow of cars. In this picture taken in the 1950s looking west on Young and Bloor, you can see obviously that the population density is much lower than in the present, and there's less cars. In the future here, where there's much more cars, much more traffic, more people around, taller buildings, more residential and commercial buildings for neighborhood, and much more stores. In this picture, also taken around the 1930s of the Young and Bloor and Yorkville area, you can see that it still had a lot of shops and restaurants to eat at, and it was still known as somewhat a shopping district, as is today, which is one of the most expensive shopping districts with a variety of stores to buy from and many food places. But back then, for its time, it had a lot of shops and restaurants to eat too. Located just west of Yonge Street in Yorkville, this branch of Toronto Public Library is the city's oldest library at 106 years of age. Yorkville Branch Library opened on June 13th, 1907. It was in the city's north end. It was the first of 4 libraries constructed with a $350,000 grant made by Andrew Carnegie in Toronto Public Library in 1903. It was designed by Robert McCullum, city architect. It is now Toronto Public Library's oldest library. Yorkville Branch, like many other early Carnegie libraries, was divided at first into several separate areas. Books were shelved in a closed stack room and brought by staff members to deliver a desk on customer request. By the time 1911, the Toronto Public Library Board had adopted the open shelf storage system, which allowed readers to browse the books and nor have to request it from the staff. The area beyond the door was designed for children and teachers. It is now not only a library, but a historic site in the Yorkville area. In 1878, the Yorkville Fire Station was built. It is one of the city's oldest active fire halls. The 2-story structure has a 5-story clock with 3 bays. It has a coat of arms from the old Yorkville Town Hall. It was restored in 1974 and is still here today. Present. The Young and Bloor intersection is an unofficial dividing line between downtown and midtown Toronto. It has a wide range of fast food restaurants, pubs for late night eating. Its subway station, Bloor and Yonge, is a connecting line from Line 1 to Line 2. It is often used by many TTC riders. As you can see in this representation, Young and Bloor is the busiest station out of all the other stations, with 200,000 riders a day. Yorkville is 2 blocks away from the Young and Bloor intersection where we went. It was established as a separate village in 1830, but then in 1883 it was added into Toronto. Yorkville consists of many different areas, residential areas, office spaces, and an array of shopping options. Yorkville had rents of $300 per square foot in 2008, making it the 3rd most expensive retail space in North America. It is one of the most exclusive and expensive shopping districts in Toronto. As you can see, there's many stores in the Yorkville area, like Pusa Terry's, Paramount, Starbucks, Freshie, Wine Rack, Persian Rug Gallery, and so here's another a little alleyway in the Yorkville area in the present. Even in the alleyways,
old buildings left here, as you can see, which we think are going to be broken.
These are the ones that are being broken down. You'll see in a second that the brick is crumbling and stuff. But even in the alleyways, there's a bunch of stores and a little plaza right here, as you can see.
A lot of business buildings, as well as you can see the Bay CIBC.
Yeah, and there's Posh Super Club. We think this is a very posh it's a restaurant actually. Didn't know that. Cut this part out, but there's game and hobby zones. As you can see here, that's my favorite store to go to because I like games, and I guess you can call it my hobby.
That's my favorite zone.
And here, there's a lot of buildings. There's the Pilot. I'm not really sure what this is. Oh, it's a restaurant as well. So a stealth, a height deck stealth, and then There's
great stuff for great prices right there.
yeah. I don't know what you're saying, but yeah, yeah.
There's a pine,
Pine,
50% off.
50% off. There's the gift. There's restaurant there, gift cards. So yeah, as you can see here, these are one of the these are the buildings. These are the buildings that we think are going to be teared down. As you can see, these bricks are kind of like rotting, like away and like getting old.
Very old.
Yeah. So, yeah.
This is another construction site in this area. As you can see, there's a lot of construction here because it's a high demand place and a lot of people want to live here. So they're breaking down a lot of the old buildings, like this one right here, and building new ones.
So this is basically the main street coming off the intersection. The intersection's actually right down there. As you can see, there's already a bunch of restaurants here like Jackasses, Starbucks, and Tim Hortons right next to each other. Yeah, Mr. Johnson. They're competing right next to each other, and there's still more stores down there. And there's Pizza right here, and a bunch of pizza places. So this is a big Toronto library in the Yonge and Bloor area. As you can see, it's absolutely massive. It's about 4 or 5 stories, as you can see of this picture of the inside. It is a good building to have in the area because it attracts a lot of people to the area because many events are held there, like Mini Maker Fest, and organizations like do meetings there and stuff. So it's a good building to have in the area as like a center hub. Okay, so this is a present day Yonge and Bloor. As you can see, there's many buildings around, a lot of businesses and condos and stuff. So it's
A lot of new buildings and old buildings.
Yes.
We predict in the future that they're going to break down almost all the old buildings and have them replaced with new ones.
yeah.
But right now, it's a mix.
Right now, there's a lot of businesses going on here. Future. This is a old building made out of brick being teared down to be for a new plaza to be made. In the future, we believe that most of these old stores and houses and buildings will be teared down and built into big commercial or residential buildings or high-rises. This is one of the many projects and construction sites in the area, in the Yonge and Bloor area. But this one is a little bit different. This one, they're building the second tallest building in the area. As you can see in this picture right here, it's not fully done yet. It's a huge residential skyscraper, and it's gonna be over 75 stories. It's gonna have housing on top, and it's gonna have like a little plaza shopping area on the bottom, as you can see in these future photos of what it will look like when it's done. Now this is good for the area, like in the future, like 2050 and ahead, because the population density in the area is gonna keep growing and rising, as with the population in the city. And this is good because this provides houses for the fast growing population and reduces space on the streets for stores by compacting them into one building, so they can build more condos on the streets. So here's one of the buildings that we were talking about. As you can see, it's very old.
It's going to be teared down. It's actually being teared down right now.
Yeah, it's being teared down right now. All the brick is crumbling, and there used to be small stores in it, but now
most of these businesses are going to be bought.
Yeah, they're going to be bought out.
So they can be broken, and the land is going to be used instead.
Yeah, they're going to be bought out, and all of it's going to be changed into high buildings and modern structures.
This is the Toronto Public Library, and it's one of the few buildings that we think is not going to be broken down in this area by the year 2050 because of all the benefits it has, such as bringing people and money into the community. This building has been recently renovated, and we think it will be at least one more time before the year 2050.
We think in 2050 this building will also still be here because this is Toronto Library's oldest building. As you can see, it's the Yorkville Branch Library. It was made in 1903 and grant to the Garnage Corporation. As you can see in the sign, it explains most of its history, and that's the Yorkville Library. And yeah,